Hi, today's video is a simple, basic, straight reporting about all the things that are business as usual of the nature of the show must go on while India's COVID-19 pandemic is raging. We have tried to make this list as exhaustive as possible, but chances are we may have missed an event or two, so drop that detail in the comments and I'll collate another video. I'm Anubha Bhonsle. This is Newsworthy. If you have the means and the bandwidth, please help us do more independent, empathetic, and thoughtful work. The link to contribute is in our bio and comments section. Let's start. With April 28th, that's yesterday, the first IPL match was played in Delhi. The worst hit city in the world on many counts, a city which has resorted to using nearly every public space that's available as cremation ground. The match was played at the Arun Jaitley Stadium. 4 kilometers away, bodies were lining up for cremation. It is the first of 8 matches to be held in the capital from April 28th to May 8th. Despite all the criticism, the BCCI, that comes under the Ministry of Sports, has said that the show must go on. Their reasoning is cricket is 4 hours of relief on television every day to distressed Indians. Number 2, IPL is helping people stay indoors and at home. Number 3, IPL is contributing to the economy. And number 4, nowhere in the world sport has stopped because of the pandemic. Of course, except in India, where the National Shooting Championships, the Indian Open Badminton, and in all likelihood, the Women's T20 Challenge, which is usually played alongside the final week of the IPL, is likely to be postponed. The IPL season is running almost parallelly with the second COVID-19 wave. April 9th to May 30th is the IPL season. COVID-19, of course, we don't have an end date for that. This is not to engage in any personal moral judgment, but Indian cricketers, coaches, and team owners are only now waking up in real ways to this crisis. The focus so far was on luxury bio bubbles created for the players and all the resources that had to be diverted. A separate IPL check-in counter at the airport, RT-PCR tests every 2 days for players with presumably immediate results, rather than the 4 to 5 days it seems to be taking most labs in the national capital. And like previous legs of the tournament, an entire crew of health professionals, security personnel, and an ICU on wheels ambulance on the standby. There are also vaccine privileges, as is evident by a Mumbai Indian player's slip of the tongue that Indian players in his team will be vaccinated this week. The BCCI expects to earn 4,000 crores in sponsorship money this IPL season. You may have heard Andrew Tai of Rajasthan Royals, who has chosen to drop out and return to Australia. He had said that how are these companies and franchisees spending so much money and the government on IPL when people are not being able to get accepted into a hospital, unquote. Let's talk about the next big bang, elections, and the argument here is not that elections should not be held. Let's talk about all the states that are seeing elections. UP has Panchayat elections going on. The Allahabad High Court issued a notice to the State Election Commission on the reported death of 135 polling officers due to COVID-19. At least 1,900 personnel of Uttar Pradesh Police on election duty have tested positive for COVID-19. The second state, Telangana, that goes to polls tomorrow for seats in urban civic bodies. It is seeing a surge in cases and large rallies by all parties. In pictures that were released by the TRS, you can see hundreds packed. They're wearing simple cloth masks and the pictures look fairly well composed for an election rally. The BJP for Telangana, the official handle, tweeted pictures of large crowds in Warangal and later deleted them. The Congress may have likely held rallies of some magnitude as well, but there are no pictures available. The thing to note here is COVID-19 cases doubled overnight in Warangal from Sunday to Monday, from 329 to 653 in a matter of 24 hours. Obviously, the Telangana High Court pulled up the state police and called all of this a joke because they booked only 4 cases across the state against those violating COVID-19 protocol. Let's talk about the third state, Karnataka. On April 27th, Civic Polls in Karnataka took place. That is currently under lockdown. Bengaluru is the worst hit city after Delhi. There have been large rallies by the Congress and the BJP and door-to-door campaigns for the upcoming local body polls and 3 by-polls that recently concluded. Number 4, the state elections. Rallies have been held in 4 states, 1 union territory, and continue by all contesting parties. Masks, social distancing is a silly expectation. In West Bengal, Mamata Banerjee asked people to not worry about COVID-19 and come out and vote. The Prime Minister and Home Minister of the country have boasted of the size and number of rallies they've been holding. All of these statements are before 20th April. India was already collapsing under the weight of the second COVID-19 wave. All these places have seen a sharp spike in COVID-19 cases. West Bengal, with 8 phases of polling in the middle of a pandemic, has the highest COVID-19 case growth in the country currently at 9.5%. At about 50%, Bengal's capital now has the highest test positivity rate. The Election Commission had continued to defend this longest election ever in India till it was pulled up by 2 high courts for allowing these rallies. The polling body finally woke up and decided to do something. Too little, too late. There were restrictions on the last 2 phases in Bengal, but crowds till 500 people were allowed. Victory rallies have been banned, etc. for May 2nd, but let's wait and see. A quick word about these virtual rallies. Parties have shifted to virtual rallies since these restrictions were imposed, which means that leaders are protected in their homes, while these crowds that gather to listen to them in public grounds in Murshidabad and Malda continue to be exposed. It's in poor taste to blame the people in attendance because we often know how crowds are drawn for these rallies in elections across India. The last one is all the religious activities that have been going on. The last Shahi Snan of the Kumbh Mela took place just 2 days ago. 25,000 people participated in it. Once it ended, the Uttarakhand government imposed a week-long night curfew in 5 districts because of the rising cases. There has been an explosive 1800% spike in active cases in Uttarakhand between March 31st and April 24th. It's a period that coincides with the Kumbh. The Kumbh was due in 2022, 12 years after 2010, but was reportedly shifted due to astrological reasons. Just 2 days ago, hundreds gathered without masks at the Brahma Kalashotsav celebrations in Mangalore. The visuals are available in most social media platforms. On April 17th, just before India's second COVID wave became this huge crisis, thousands gathered in Ajmer's Dargah Bazaar demanding the arrest of a priest for blasphemy. Yesterday, in Rajasthan's Jaisalmer, a huge maskless crowd gathered for the funeral of the religious cleric Maulana Ghazi Fakir. He's also the father of the Congress leader and Rajasthan minister Saleh Mohammad. WHO has confirmed that mass gatherings are a major reason for India's huge spike. Work on the Central Vista project is continuing in Delhi amidst all the death and devastation, with labourers being issued essential services passes. The annual Amarnath pilgrimage, which could lead to a devastating wave in Kashmir, is upcoming. And in a welcome move, the Char Dham Yatra in Uttar Pradesh that was scheduled for 14th May has been cancelled today. I'll stop here. What does India need today? Should everything come to a standstill till the pandemic is controlled? We're offering no analysis here. These are the facts about relative priorities as hundreds are dying breathless, indignified deaths, and those who are surviving really have it no better. As we said at the start, we may have missed an event or two, So put that in the comments and we'll compile another video of all the things that are business as usual while the COVID-19 pandemic is raging across India. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you again soon.